Hello guys, we're going to start today with the vocabulary words for the week. The first word is coincidence. It was a coincidence that Eric bumped into his friend Tom at the fair. When something is a coincidence, it is when something happens that is not planned and you find it to be strange. Like for instance, say that Miss Radwa comes to school and she's wearing a blue dress. And then Miss Rafif comes to school and she's also wearing a blue dress. And Miss Amira comes to school and she's wearing a blue dress. But none of them knew that they were going to wear the blue dress at the same time. This is what we call a coincidence. Okay, like for instance, maybe if you bring a new notebook for science today, and your friend also brings a new notebook for science, but you didn't know it was going to happen. It's unexpected, and it's similar. This is a coincidence. All right. Here in this example, it's a coincidence that they were both at the fair. They didn't know each other was going to be there. Consequences. Consequences are the result of an action or an event. So it's what happens when an action or an event takes place. Like in this picture, it says the consequences of too much rain can be flooded roads and fields. So the result of having too much rain can be that the roads and the fields are flooded. Okay, so consequences are the result of an action or an event, like for instance, a snowstorm. One of the consequences may be that there's no school because you can't travel on the roads to get back and forth to school because it's not safe. So this is a consequence of having a snowstorm. Another example of consequence is if your teacher tells you, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to keep you in for break today. The consequence of your talking is that you have to stay in for break. So the result of an action or an event. Next, we have the word consume. When you consume something, it means that you use something. Here it says this kind of car will consume less fuel because it uses less gas than a larger car. Consume means the same as use, okay? You can consume goods, you can consume merchandise, you can consume fruits and vegetables, you can consume water, you can consume electricity. Anything that you use, you consume. You are a consumer, someone who consumes. All right, converted. When we convert something, we change it, okay? Like in our picture here, it says we converted the classroom into a science lab. So that means they need to use the classroom as a science lab, so they changed it so they could use it as a science lab. When you travel and you go outside of Egypt, you go to the money exchange and you convert your money. You take the Egyptian money and you change it for the money of the place that you are going to. This is called converting. Okay, you convert your money. Another example of convert, say you buy something maybe from off of Amazon or Souk and you have it delivered to your house, and when it comes, the plug doesn't fit your wall plug. So you have to put an adapter on the end of it to change the plug. Sometimes things come with 3 plugs, but your wall only has 2. So you have to buy a piece that goes on it to change 3 to 2. You adapt it, you convert it to a different plug, okay? So convert means to change. All right, next page. Oh, are they out of order? Yes, I do believe they are out of order. Just 1 second, I'll pause the video, fix the order, and come right. Okay, well, oddly enough, it wouldn't let me put them in order, so I'm just going to open them one by one here for you. Next, we have the word efficient. When something is efficient, it is done in the simplest, quickest, easiest way possible. Okay? The efficient plumber got the job done quickly and easily. All right? So efficient means to do something in the best way possible. The quickest way, the easiest way, the simplest way, the least wasteful way, the time efficient way to not waste time, to not waste money, to do it in the best way that you possibly can do something. Okay? Incredible. We saw an incredible thunderstorm. Incredible means that something is amazing, wow, fascinating, astonishing, surprising, shocking, incredible. Like it's above and beyond your expectations, what you think would happen. Installed. The town installed new playground equipment in the park. So installed means that they put this playground equipment in the park. Okay, to install means to set it up in the park, to put it there where it can work. If you want to install Windows in your computer, you add Windows by putting it into your computer and programming it so it can work. If you want to install speakers in your bedroom or lights in your bedroom, then you put them in your room and you connect them so that they will work. You install them. Renewable. Now, the meaning of the word renewable is something that is able to be made new again. All renewable things can't be made new again, but many of them have what we think of as an endless supply, that when we use something, there's still more of it. Okay, that is also considered renewable. So renewable can be something that can be made new again, or it can be something that we think of as not ending. Okay, we will still have more after we use what we are using. When my library card expired, the librarian told me it was renewable. That means she can go back and get a new card after her current one expires. Okay? All right. Let's pop out for a second. Oddly enough, it won't let me just switch through the photos. All right, here we go. We're going to flip this around and we're going to read the Great Energy Debate. Okay. This is narrative nonfiction, so it gives facts and information that is told through a story. The Great Energy Debate. Our energy debate will be an incredible event, but I need to study. Our teacher won't tell us which side of the debate we'll be on until the day before it happens, which means we'll have to pre-plan arguments for both sides. So a debate is an argument between two sides. One side agrees with the statement and one side opposes a statement. So one side says, yes, this statement is correct. And the other side says, no, this statement is not correct. Now, the debate that they're going to have, their debate is about energy, okay? Now, the teacher is not going to tell them if they are for the topic or they are against the topic until the day of the debate, which means they have to prepare an argument for and an argument against. The debate will be next Tuesday and will include a discussion about different energy sources. Each team will have a microphone. One team will talk about the benefits of an energy source and the other team will talk about its drawbacks. We'll have to learn about the environmental consequences related to each resource, as well as the cost. Okay, so they're going to talk about the consequences, the results of what's going to happen if they use this resource and the results of what's going to happen if they don't use this resource, okay? So remember, we said consequences are the result of an action or an event. So in this case, it will be the result of using the energy resource or not using the energy source, okay? All right. Yes, Still out of order. Very strange computer. Let me go back and grab the second page. All right. So they're excited about their debate. They think their debate is going to be incredible, they said. So let's flip this around. I'm sorry, I have a menu at the top that allows me to do things, and every time I go up to try to turn this photo, that menu pops up. So it's hard for me to move the photo. Okay, here we go. What is energy? Uh-oh. What happened? Just stop sharing my screen. Here we go. Let me move this board down. I'm telling you, I'm having all kinds of trouble with this computer today. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So what is energy? Energy is the ability to do work or make a change. It also is a source of power for making electricity or doing mechanical work. We use the wind, the sun, fossil fuels, and biofuels to produce energy. Burning coal produces heat energy that is converted into electrical energy. We use that energy to light our houses. Solar energy comes from the sun. Solar panels convert sunlight into electrical energy. So this is an explanation of what energy is, and it talks about the different types of energy that we can use. This is a sidebar. We may be asked to debate the future of gasoline as an energy source. If so, I would say that gasoline is made from oil, a fossil fuel. According to geologists, fossil fuels formed over hundreds of millions of years from ancient plant and animal remains. But here's the problem. We use these fuels far faster than it takes them to form. Because fossil fuels are non-renewable resources, if we keep using them, eventually there will be none left. Plus, burning these fuels pollute the air. So if you're on the side of talking about fossil fuels, it's easy to argue that one, they're going to run out, and two, that they harm the air, they pollute. Okay, on the other side, it says it's easy to be hypercritical of fossil fuels. However, most of our cars and factories use this type of fuel, and therefore changing everything would be a huge undertaking. So the other side of the argument says we're already using it, and we use it everywhere. And if we were going to change it, we would have to change so much. Okay, so that's part of the argument as to why it's a good thing to use, because we already are using it. And to change everything around would be difficult for many people, many countries, and many places. If we are asked to debate the use of wind energy, okay, this is about gasoline as a resource. Now we're talking about wind energy. If we're asked to debate the use of wind energy, we would have to know that this is a renewable energy source, one that can be made new again. Okay, we can't make wind new again, but we do know that we can always create more wind. For example, unlike fossil fuels, wind will never run out. We can always make more. That's what the renewable part of this source is. It doesn't run out like fossil fuels. We can always make more wind. One large wind turbine could produce enough energy for a whole city. In addition, this method doesn't damage the environment. Okay, so one large wind turbine can make enough wind for a city and no damage to our atmosphere, to our ozone layer, to our environment. Turbines can be placed all over the world to capture wind energy. We can put them anywhere. Then the energy from the turbines is converted into electrical energy. So they take the energy from the wind machines, the turbines, and convert it, change it into electrical energy. But there is a drawback. Okay, all of this is good. All of this sounds good, but there is a drawback. There's a problem. Wind may not be as efficient as other sources. other energy sources. Efficient, remember we said the best way to do something. The wind may not be the best way. Only about 30 or 40% of all wind energy is changed into electricity. So from all of the wind that you take and try to turn it into electricity, only 30 or 40% becomes electricity. So it would be very expensive to have wind turbines installed all over the world. Okay, remember we said everybody's using gasoline. So the world is already set up and equipped to use gasoline. To change everything over to wind power would cost a lot of money. The debate is important for people in the United States. Our country makes up about 5% of the entire world's population. So the people who live in America are about 5% of the world's population. Yet they use about 30% of the world's energy. So they use a lot of energy. It's not a coincidence that students are asked to take part in these debates. So it's not by chance. It's not someone didn't plan for this to happen. No, people plan. It's not a coincidence. People plan for people to start talking about different energy sources because they're going to have to make these decisions later. As they get older, they're going to find that less and less fossil fuels will be available, and they're going to have to make decisions on what type of energy that they're going to use. The debate will be difficult, but I will be ready. She is doing her research. She's learned about fossil fuels. She's learned about wind energy, and she will be ready to participate in the debate no matter which side he tells her she's on. Okay? All right. That should take care of your vocabulary for the week. I hope you have an understanding now of your words. If you don't, you can feel free to message me and ask me any questions. Okay. Our first strategy for comprehending, for understanding what we are reading, is what we call ask and answer questions. Now, I never asked you to write this down because to me, this is the same thinking as reread. When we ask and answer a question, as we're reading through something and we don't understand something, we say to ourselves, wait, why did that happen? Where did that come from? I don't remember reading about a box before. Whatever it is that's going on in your story and you don't quite understand, you can go back and read again to find the information to answer the question that you're asking yourself. So when you read it, you may not understand completely, but when you go back and you reread it, you can answer the question that you have. Okay? All right, our next literary term. We're talking about main idea and key details. Now remember, when we talk about a main idea, we're talking about the most important idea or point that an author makes in a paragraph or a section of text. So it can be in the paragraph itself, what they're talking about, or it can be in an area of text, like 2 or 3 paragraphs that are linked together about the same idea. This is the main idea, the most important point that the author makes. The other sentences are the details. They give important information about our main idea. Let's take a look here. Here we have, we'll leave the main idea to last. Fossil fuels take hundreds of millions of years to form. So we said, using fossil fuels is difficult because we use it much faster than we can make it. We use fossil fuels faster than it takes them to form. So here it takes a long time. Here we use it faster than we make it. Fossil fuels are non-renewable resources. So these 3 details, they take many, many years to make fossil fuels. We use it faster than we can make it. And it's non-renewable. Once we use it, it's gone. Okay, so these are the details that help us to understand that if we keep using fossil fuels, eventually there will be none left. So this is our main idea. The main idea is that if we keep using fossil fuels, they're going to be gone. Why? Because it takes millions of years to make them, because we use them faster than we can make them, and because once they're gone, they're gone. Okay? All right, so this is the difference between a main idea, the most important point. All of those details are giving us information about this idea. And key details are the sentences that give the information about the main idea. Like here, there's 1, 2, 3. These 3 give us more information about our main idea. Okay. Now, next we have narrative nonfiction. This is our genre for the week. Narrative nonfiction is under the genre of informational text. Under the genre of informational text, we have narrative nonfiction, we have expository text. We've taken both of those. The great energy debate is narrative nonfiction. The story that we just read is what we call narrative nonfiction. It gives us facts and information about a topic in a story. So it was giving us facts and information about fossil fuels, facts and information about wind energy, and it did it by telling us a story of students who are going to have a debate about these topics. So a narrative nonfiction tells a story, and it gives facts and information in that story. Okay. Now, our text feature this week is a sidebar. Remember when we read about what is energy, and it told us about the different types of energy? This is a sidebar that has information that gives some explanation related to our story. So, excuse me, our story is about energy sources. Our sidebar gives us more information about energy sources, but it is not a part of our story. It is extra information. Okay, next. Oh, sorry, sneezing. Okay, alhamdulillah. Page 417 now. We talked about Latin and Greek prefixes. Now, what about Latin? This is not opening. Let me close that and try again. Okay, here we go. So Latin and Greek prefixes. Remember we talked about Latin and Greek roots. When we had root words that came from the Latin language and the Greek language. Okay, these are two languages. Latin is no longer spoken on the planet. No one in the world speaks the language of Latin. No country. It's not spoken anywhere. And Greek is spoken in Greece. So a prefix, we know, is a word part that we add to the beginning of the word that changes the meaning of the word. Some of the prefixes that we use, like non and pre, come from the Latin language. Non, we know means not, and pre, we know means before. Other prefixes come from Greek, such as hyper, which means in excess, and bio, which means life. Okay. Many of our words have Latin and Greek root words, and many of our words have Latin and Greek prefixes. Okay. Remember what I told you, I'm not so concerned about you knowing these now, just knowing that they exist and that knowing their meanings can help you understand other words. Like if you see a word that has non, you know it has something to do with not, something that's not. And pre has something to do with something that's before. Bio, something to do with life, like biography, the story of a person's life. Okay, hyperactive means that you are excessively active. You move around a lot. Okay, so this is all I want you to understand at this point, is that we get root words from the Latin language and the Greek language, and we also get prefixes from the Latin language and the Greek language. Okay, all right. I will show you one more example here. So here we said bio is a prefix that means life. So biofuels, fuels that come from life, from living things, okay? It helps you to understand the meaning of words you don't know. All right, that's it for our reading today. Tomorrow when we meet, we will take our quiz in one session, and in the second session, we will read the big story in the literature anthology. Okay? All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow in our session. Bye-bye.